Welcome to the Airedale. I'm Andrew Chronister, and today we'll be talking about the ACT Aspire State Science Fair, climate change, and much more coming up on the Airedale.
Directly from the Alma High School News Studio, covering news and sports from where it matters. You're watching the Airedale.
The ACT Aspire is a standardized test required for students through the 10th grade. The test determines growth and learning among the students. Tegan Carlisle and Remy Scarber took a closer look at this test.
At Alma High School, the ACT is taken very seriously. We asked the principal how to better prepare ourselves and why it is as important as it is.
It's important for students because it's the way at the end of the school year to tell us what you've learned all year long in 9th and 10th grade. And it's important to us as a school because we use the data we get from that test to see what we taught well, what students may need to relearn, and kind of helps us plan lessons for the next school year of how we might need to teach students. Okay, one thing I would tell students for sure is to go to bed early the night before, because I know high school students like to stay up late, and then sometimes it makes you wake up late and you might be late for the test. So it's really important for us that you're here on time because we all have to start the test at the exact same time. Another thing is if you get enough rest, your brain will work a lot better, so you'll do better on the test. Also tell kids to drink lots of water. Keeping your brain hydrated helps you think more clearly, helps keep you awake. Okay. I know it can make kids really nervous thinking about a big test, but what I would tell kids is that you know the things that are going to be on there. You've learned them all year. You just got to take your time. Number one, don't rush through it. Be sure you read every question carefully. If you have extra time, go back and check your work, and just make sure you spend adequate time doing the right thing.
This is Remy and Tegan with Airwaves Media.
Science Fair is an opportunity for students to gain experience by getting out and doing their projects. Some of our students made it to the State Science Fair at UCA. Grayson Hopper and Tyler Wilcox talked to some of our students about their experience there.
For those of you who haven't already heard, State Science Fair was held on Friday, April 1st at UCA in Conway. Alma came in 4th overall in the state, and we had two students, Shivam Raja and Sydney Atha, placed 3rd in environmental management. We talked to Ms. Scrivener about how the event unfolded.
I feel it was very positive. I feel that our kids got a lot out of it. They get to see what science is really about, how to go through the experiment process, coming up with data, analyzing that data, and coming up with a conclusion. So I think it gives them a real look into what science is.
Due to snow and poor weather conditions, Regional Science Fair was canceled for March 11th. So on Wednesday, April 6th, regional awards were held through a Zoom meeting. We had 11 students placed 1st in varying categories, with several more getting 2nd and 3rd. Lucas Hayes got 3rd place overall and was nominated for the Best 12th Grade Project. He will be moving on to internationals in Atlanta in May. Mr. Kelly was also selected for Northwest Arkansas Science Fair Teacher of the Year. Overall, Alma received the Outstanding School Achievement Award. Congratulations to all of those who participated and those who received awards.
Yes, I feel that this year, because we hadn't done it in a couple of years because of COVID, I feel that this year we were getting kids back getting them motivated in doing it again, and I saw that spark in a lot of their eyes again that we used to see. So I expect next year that many of them will be back and do even better than what they did this year.
I'm Grayson.
And I'm Tyler with Airwaves Media.
Food for Friends is a school-wide canned food drive. The incentive is that the winners will get a $20 Sonic gift card. Ethan Moore and Dalton Davis elaborated more on this charity.
Community service projects are something that benefit people throughout any community in need. The Food for Friends program is an example of a community service project that helps students and families from around the community of Alma who are in need of assistance.
So all of the products that we bring in, 100% of those go either directly to our students and families or to the families in our community.
The Food for Friends program helps to stock all the outdoor food pantries throughout Alma, and donations go to the Alma Community Outreach Program.
At some point in every person's life, you're going to go through a hard time. And it's nice to have somebody there that can help you make it through that hard time. So this Food for Friends program is just a way that we can help provide a resource for people who may be having a hard time in our school and in our community.
Food for Friends started with a couple of students in Mr. Kelly's class. The program provides grocery giveaways during Thanksgiving and Christmas. The program is also partnered with the athletic program to have canned food admissions for the green and gold game.
We've also are doing a spring drive right now through the month of April, and any students or faculty or whoever would like to donate can bring those to my room, and we'll also put their name into a drawing for $20 Sonic gift cards. So it's a little incentive to bring 5 canned food items, get your name into the raffle. I think anytime you can do something nice for other people, or if you recognize that somebody has a need and you have the means and the resources to actually help them with that need, then that's something that we should do. We should all
get involved now with Food for Friends by donating what you can to this incredible program.
If you can bring 2 canned food items, great. If you can bring 100 canned food items, great. The big thing is just participate, be involved. Show up and help organize things. Take a box and put it in a food pantry around town. The biggest thing is, if you're interested in Food for Friends, then we should be involved in Food for Friends.
This is Airwaves Media with Don Davis and Ethan Moore signing out.
Climate change will eventually take its toll on the weather of the beautiful state of Arkansas. But how will this happen? Michael Farrell talked to the Channel 5 chief meteorologist Matt Standridge with more on climate change.
Climate change is already affecting the daily lives of every Arkansan. From heavier storms to hotter summers, this is a disaster on a whole other front. Here is Chief Meteorologist Matt Standridge with more.
We're noticing how the Arctic is getting warmer faster than necessarily Arkansas and Oklahoma and Texas. But when you change the Arctic, which is the world's air conditioner, eventually we'll start to notice more impacts here at home in Arkansas.
In Arkansas, even though climate change has not had much effect, it will most definitely catch up with us. Our beautiful state will eventually become victim to extreme heat and even more powerful storms, including the possible movement of Tornado Alley.
What we are noticing is stronger storms overall. We're getting more hurricanes overall in the Atlantic. We're getting these more powerful winter storms that come in.
We are lucky to have a climate where all kinds of weather can happen, but that weather will eventually intensify and possibly bring danger to future Arkansans if we don't pay attention to climate change. This has been Michael Farrell with Airwaves Media, signing out.
A couple of weeks ago, the Alma NJROTC unit took part in an emergency combat first aid training PT regimen to see how apt they are at stabilizing injuries in the field. I talked to some of our students on this subject. A couple of weeks ago, the ROTC unit here at Alma learned about combat first aid. It's essentially a set of skills and training used to help soldiers harmed or wounded in combat. Here's some of what they learned.
The combat training included knowing how to use tourniquets, making simple splints out of different things, and how to wrap a bandage if ever.
These are the casualties. As you can see, they're acting dead or wounded, and here are some of the people that will be helping them in this simulation. The equipment used are a stretcher, weights to simulate a body, other weights to act as medical equipment, and other such cargo and tourniquets. Many of these skills can be used in everyday life, such as head bandages and making splints. These cadets learned quite a bit about combat first aid. Here's one of the cadets on what they learned.
In daily life, well, you could get in a car wreck, and if you have something nearby that could be considered a tourniquet, somebody could be bleeding, and you could already know how to do it. And bandages, pretty simple, just wrap it around and all that. Splints, that would be more for hiking and all that.
My name is Andrew Chronister with Airwaves Media. Thank you for watching. Airwaves Media took a trip to Hot Springs to compete in the Arkansas Skills USA TV production competition. But what was it like to do this? Evan Shibley took a look into the Skills USA competition.
Skills USA Arkansas is a convention of multiple different trades held in Hot Springs. Students ranging in age from high school to collegiate will compete against each other in their own respective fields. A captivating thing about Skills USA is the ability to see things you wouldn't see otherwise. For example, you could see a simulated police arrest. Either way, the multitude of trades that you can see at the Skills USA Convention Center will amaze you.
It's everything from like welding to cosmetology, TV production, which is what we competed in,
Skills USA holds 210 different trades and features students from all over the state.
Everywhere, every single school and every single type of individual, every single different individual got a chance to compete in Skills USA Arkansas. And I thought that was absolutely remarkable that they managed to bring all these different types of people together.
Because you saw a whole bunch of people that were doing the same things you were doing, and you saw all the other jobs that you would never really get to see unless you were actually at Skills USA.
The students of Airwaves Media competed, and as part of the TV production skill, they were required to make a promotional video for Skills USA. Here are those videos by Chloe Lewis and Sarah Nutt and Michael Farrell and Zachary Miller.
It's a great thing because it really shows just how much talent this state has in so many different areas.
Philadelphia High School.
Benton, Arkansas. Marshall, Arkansas. I'm from Springdale, Arkansas.
Jonesboro High School.
Arkansas Virtual Academy.
Northeast Arkansas Technical Center. Auburn, Arkansas.
From Springdale High School.
Both students and teachers just look forward to every year simply because it is not only a good time, but there's competition, network, and just, meet people who are interested in the same thing you are.
I'm doing welding.
Job interview, CNA. Reading and pen design.
Shop mathematics and technical math. Art specialist. Medical math.
TV promotional. Arkansas Skills USA brings students from all over the state to come together to compete in different skill competitions. Good luck to all the students competing, and we hope to see you in nationals.
Jobs that are on the uprising, more people are needed in these areas, and that you can display them in the youth all under one roof in one room.
My first year when I taught in Texarkana, he was a student, he was a senior, and he had come to Skills USA. Now I've seen his name attached to projects at Apple.
Coming to Skills USA is going to give me an opportunity to get more real world scenarios, even though they're simulations, but it's more real world.
Skills does a great thing because not only does it teach you a skill, whether that be welding, whether that be television, but they also teach you how to show up to a job every day, how to put in the work, how to do a good job.
It provides me that insight into what police officers are doing when they bring a criminal to attorney.
We congratulate the contestants of Skills USA and wish them the best of luck in next year's convention. This is Evan Shibley with Airwaves Media.
The Alma bands had their concert assessment, and both of them came out with superior ratings from the judges. Jackson Frey Aldenhoven took a deeper look into the concert assessments.
Everyone has been hard at work since Christmas break, as snow days have thrown many people off of a normal school schedule. Though, something like that can't throw off the Alma Band, as their program has been working diligently at preparing for an upcoming band assessment. The concert pieces will be playing two pieces, Blue Ridge Reel, conducted by Brian Balmages, and Fort Canterbury March, conducted by David R. Holsinger. The Symphonic Band will be playing their own pieces, Breaking Point by Brian Balmages, and March OP.99 by Sergei Prokofiev. They will also take part in a sight reading contest where you get a random piece chosen by the judges and organizers of the competition, and you have to read through it in a certain amount of time and then play it with your band, and you are ranked based on how good your band does. Regionals will be held April 6th, and the multiple bands are very excited for this upcoming event. This is Jackson Frey Aldenhoven with Airwaves Media, signing off.
So much work goes into a theatrical production, from set design to costuming and getting all the props that are required. The Stagecraft crew works tirelessly to put on a great show. Stetson Goodson and Jace Brantley took a look backstage to see what's required to make the magic happen on stage.
Have you ever thought about what the Stagecraft crew thinks about the recent play, Arsenic and Old Lace?
I feel like it's going to be a really good production. We've had a lot of fun putting it on backstage. It's kind of chaotic backstage, but it's pretty fun. It's sure to go good.
Here is what Haley Jackson is impressed as an actor about the Stagecraft crew.
Their communication really impresses me because even when things are very chaotic backstage, they always seem to have it together and they always know the right person to communicate with to solve the problem.
Here's something that surprised Aaron Coulter when they started working backstage.
It's completely different energy backstage than it is on stage. You know, on stage it's like upbeat energy, backstage it's just pure chaos, needle and haystack. And there's so much more that goes into a production than actors even realize until they're backstage helping. Like even some of the crew that I have now, they're like, oh, you know, they've switched from actors or they are actors, and they're like, oh my gosh, there's so much that goes into this that I didn't even think about.
This is Jace Brantley and Stetson Goodson from Airways Media reporting on Stagecraft.
Heirlooms is an SBE, school-based enterprise. Sarah Nutt and Seth Canales talked to Mrs. Seiler, the teacher over the Heirloom store, to get an in-depth look of what it's like running Heirlooms.
You may have noticed a little store off to the side in the Union. That little store is called Heirlooms, and today we'll be discussing what the store is, what they sell, and a little bit of behind the scenes. Heirlooms is a store ran and managed by Decca. They're open at different times every day, and during sports games. They mainly sell t-shirts and hoodies, but they sell other little accessories too. The store opened in the fall of 2008, and the store is almost entirely student-ran besides management. They open the store and register, wait on customers, price items, stock items, and close the store at the end of the day.
The piece of Heirlooms that I enjoy the most is working with the students and seeing how they grow and how they learn and the skills that they attain when they are on the volunteer staff here.
If you're ever wanting to buy some Airedale pride, Heirlooms is the place to shop. I'm Sarah Nutt with Airwaves Media.
H.P. Lovecraft is a famed author that has inspired song lyrics, art, and inspired cryptid monster stories for generations. Josh Wagley took a deep dive into this wonderful wordsmith.
H.P. Lovecraft is an author known as the father of cosmic horror, a category in the horror genre. He was the first writer of supernatural literature to understand the warping of the human psyche. His novels have impacted a huge chunk of the genre. Literature, cinematography, musicians, and video games.
So H.P. Lovecraft he was influenced by authors like Edgar Allan Poe, but his works have gone on to influence other authors like Stephen King, Neil Gaiman, even musicians like Metallica, Black Sabbath. In that Lovecraftian style, which is that kind of cosmic weirdness, has influenced so many writers, that probably so many that we'll never even know about.
At the library here in Alma High School, we have the complete fiction of H.P. Lovecraft, which has all of his most common works, including The Call of Cthulhu, At the Mountains of Madness, The Shadow over Innsmouth, and The Shadow Out of Time. The AHS library also has stories by authors who were inspired by Lovecraft.
If you want to read more works that are kind of in that Lovecraftian genre, anything dealing with kind of cosmic, large-scale, like creatures, problems, Stephen King is one. But then, of course, you could read, there are quite a few selections probably in the sci-fi fantasy genre and within the supernatural horror, dealing with different types of like creatures and just kind of this otherworldliness type of setting.
Because of the way his horror stories are, they can leave a weird feeling of discomfort. Miss Thixton has more information on the effects.
I really think after reading his books, a lot of people are left with a feeling of unease, probably. Maybe even some kind of like existential type crisis. His books tend to make humans feel kind of small, not necessarily, not in a bad way, but just that there's these forces at play that are so much bigger than us. So that can be kind of overwhelming, but they're thrilling and they're suspenseful, and the people I know that have read a lot of Lovecraft tend to really like that genre, that cosmic horror genre, and tend to stick with it.
For Airwaves Media, I am Joshua Wagley.
Track season is one of the many spring sports that Alma has to offer. Evan Sanderson talked to some track and field players to see what they think about the track and the season to come.
With spring on the rise, the AHS track and field team is getting back into action. Coach Zach Jones says they are preparing for upcoming meets.
Oh yeah, we got a lot of young people on the guy team, a lot of sophomores that have ran track throughout junior high. They're all back out. They'll have a pretty good season, especially if they stick it out the next 3 years. They're going to be a really good group. Got a lot of new females that have never run track before, but they're excited about it, so it should be a fun season.
Track and field team member Connor Stacy says the team feels confident heading into the season.
You know, morale's pretty high. We kind of ended on a pretty decent note last year. We have some good returners. Sophomores are helping us out a lot this year. So pretty much we're pretty confident going into this season. I mean, I'm pretty sure we all believe that we can do pretty good and lead us to state and everything like that. So there might be some spots here and there that we need to work on, but for the most part, we actually have a pretty solid team this year. We're kind of building a lot off of last year. Last year we had a decent team, but we have a lot of the returners from that team, so we're building off of that. But pretty much everything that we have right now is pretty solid.
Stacy says he hopes to continue the momentum from last season. Track season started at the beginning of March and will continue through May. For Airwaves Media, I'm Evan Sanderson.
Josie Menarnes is an Alma High School graduate of 2019, but what has she accomplished after graduating? Chloe Lewis talked to Josie to find out.
Hi there, my name is Josephine Menardis and I am a class of 2019 Alma High School graduate. I am currently sitting in my apartment here in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles specifically, and having the time of my life. So I got here because of a co-curricular activity called DECA. It was one of the key tools to my success and I will never forget it. And I still talk about DECA to this day, but it's the only reason I even know FIDM existed, and FIDM's the reason I came out here. FIDM is the Fashion Institute Design and Merchandising, and I actually got a degree. I've already graduated with a degree in merchandise product development. I am a marketing coordinator right now over at an apparel company called Irregular Exposure. I absolutely love it. I again have fallen in love with the world of marketing, and I just really enjoy being able to be a part of the fashion industry doing something I love. And so I am a marketing coordinator over there, and that is my 9 to 5. My 5 to 9, however, I am launching a bridal business called The Bridal Belle, and it's a one-stop shop for brides where they can really get a lot of tools for success, planning, styling, one-on-one help, and so much more.
Josie's also gone on to have her own podcast where she talks about her and her new friends and how they got where they are today in the industry.
Out here, and I couldn't have done it without DECA and the support from my Alma High School teachers.
I'm Chloe Lewis from Airwaves Media.
Thanks for watching this episode of The Airedale. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow all of our social media at Airwaves Media. And as always, go Airedales!